I have the document with me. I will share the document. You can share it on your podcast.
Name, place,
Name, FIR, news cuttings, people, Hindus who were killed, and the murderers.
just because they were Hindus.
The first Islamic victory against any Hindu king happens in 712 by Muhammad Qasim defeating
Raja
Raja
Tahir.
Then the next battle that we are taught in our schools is 1192, the defeat of Prithviraj Chauhan by Muhammad Ghori.
Ghori.
This is the gap of 500 years. What happened in this 500 years? There was a bloody war being waged against Arabic Islam in Bharat, which we won. And because it doesn't suit the narrative, they have whitewashed it. The name itself is a euphemism, it's a misnomer.
And the phrase Delhi Sultanate itself is a
It's a lie.
lie. Recently, there was a slight change in the history books.
Minimalist.
They mentioned the invaders as cruel invaders.
So, but then what about Maharana Hamir Singh? What about Maharana Kumbha? What about Maharana Sanga? What about Bappa Rawal? What about Lalita Aditya Mukta Pida? There should be separate chapters on these great Hindus. All the women of that fort would be put to fire, alive.
Like we saw in Padmavat movie.
There was no Padmavat, there was only a Padmini. No Padmavati. Padmavati is a figure of imagination. There was Maharani Padmini.
Lie.
It's a lie.
Vanakkam, Tamizha Pesu viewers. Today we have a very special guest joining us. He has come to Chennai all the way from Jaipur. He is a ENT surgeon running his own clinic in Jaipur. But the most significant part is that he has written a book called Maharana's War for Dharma, and his book was released by Amit Shah ji himself. Also, he has specialized and did extensive research about the Islamic invasions for the past 1000 years which happened in Bharat. So we warmly welcome him to the land of Bhakti. Vanakkam, sir.
Thank you, Kiran. It's very pleasant experience for me to come to your beautiful studio and to see that so much dharmic work is being done in Tamil Nadu. And for people living in Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu is like another country. But with means of communications and with means of travel, I think Chennai has beckoned me. And I see myself visiting and revisiting Chennai in coming years because this is a beautiful dharmic land. And I would like to connect more with Tamil people.
Definitely, sir. Keep coming to Chennai. Chennai warmly welcomes you. You extensively covered in your book about the Hindu defiance for the past 1000 years.
Yes, yes.
But every time we talk about the Islamic invasion happened for the past 1000 years, but the counter argument which they keep is, why talk about it now? We are living peacefully now. So you are creating a communal conflict now.
Who's living peacefully?
The Hindus.
This is the most rotten argument I've ever heard in my life, that we are living peacefully. That means we are living in a utopian world. European Union Parliament says that 3 Hindu girls are picked up every single day in Pakistan. What peace? Are you not aware of the stories of the rape and the genocide happening in Bangladesh after Sheikh Hasina has been removed from her power? Are we not aware? Ever since Modi ji became the Prime Minister of this beautiful, glorious nation of ours on 26th May 2014, do you even know how many Hindu karyakartas have been murdered by Islamic terrorists? Are you aware of the number, sir? 850. I have the document with me. I will share the document. You can share it on your podcast.
Name, place,
Name, FIR, news cuttings, people, Hindus who were killed, and the murderers.
just because they were Hindus.
They were Hindu karyakartas. It's not about Hindus randomly a crime. It is a systematic genocide. We call it as random, unceasing, low-level, scattered violence. That is why the Hindu Samaj says we are living happily. These are people of the RSS. These are the people of the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, of Ram Sene, of Hindu Munnani. What kind of a dirty joke is this?
That's the counter argument of the left. That we are.
I'm
are
through you.
spreading
I'm
hate.
addressing the left. That
We are spreading hatred according to them.
okay, we are only spreading hatred. We are not beheading anybody. Okay, I'm not doing any violence here. I'm not spreading any violence. All I'm asking here, as a Hindu, is my right to exist in the land of my forefathers, which my forefathers so gloriously fought against invaders and passed it on to us. Do I forsake my right to exist in this land to placate some leftist thugs? I'm sorry, I refuse to do that. So, I'm glad you started it on a very pertinent question that we are all is hunky-dory. No, sir, all is not hunky-dory. 5 lakh Kashmiris were kicked out of Kashmir in broad daylight in 1990. They have no shame saying this, that everything is hunky-dory, we are living peacefully. Just because the fire has not reached your door, you refuse to see the houses burning around you. So either you are a cretin, outright abject moron, or you are a crook. You are covering the truth. Sorry, in this era of internet, truth will be spoken. We Hindus refuse to go down without fight. As simple as that.
There are so many topics to read, to do research about. How did you choose this particular topic?
No. There are so many topics, but I was being born. Being born in Rajasthan, I was very close to the history of my glorious forefathers who fought the Islamic invaders coming from the west. And actually, it was an accident. It just happened so that I read a tweet by my teacher and my very somebody I really respect, Shri Sanjay Dikshit ji, who runs the Jaipur Dialogues channel. He's a retired civil servant. He tweeted about the Battle of Diver of Maharana Pratap. And I said, like, okay, I'm 50 years old. And
Okay, only after 50 years.
No. I am 50 years old and
No.
I have never even heard of Battle of Diver.
Okay.
So if a level of ignorance of person like me who eats and drinks and breathes Hinduism is such, then what about an average Hindu? So I started investigating about the Battle of Diver. This is the battle which happened between Maharana Pratap and Sarima Khan Sultan in Mewar. It was the decisive battle of Rajasthan.
Okay.
During the course of investigating this battle, I struck upon this amazing dynasty of starting from Bappa Rawal to Maharana Raj Singh Ji. And I said, my goodness, I need to take this story to the Hindu Samaj. That how were we protected from being converted or being looted or being our foremothers being raped by this one dynasty of the Sisodias of Mewar. And in that process, I wrote this book that one family kept fighting the Islamic invaders for 1000 years. And that is the story that I tell that to the book.
When the film Chava came out, so I saw with my friend, and the moment we stepped out of the theater, he told me, okay, he fought for the Marathas, not for us, and the Maharanas fought for Rajasthan, not for us. So they are in deep
Who is us here?
Tamil Nadu, Tamil people. So this is the kind of ignorance they are living in.
It's like saying, in our body, Kiran, we have 3 blood cells: the red blood cells, the white blood cells, and the platelets mainly. So the red blood cells carry the oxygen. We are alive because of the red blood cells. Our tissue needs oxygen to survive, and RBC does that. The WBCs, the white blood cells, are the defense. They attack the pathogens. Every second, every breath, we are inhaling macrobacteria, and these white blood cells are killing those bacteria. This is a passive process happening. So now the RBCs come and say, look, since I am the one providing oxygen, WBCs have no role. Or WBCs come and say, look, I'm the one who is protecting you from the bacteria. That's why RBC should be eliminated. Is this the way our body survives? How is this nation going to survive? This nation will survive when all Hindus treat each other as brothers. It is
Do you
a
think
stupid
that's possible,
question.
cutting across the language barriers?
Not language. We are bound by dharma. See, if my daughter was to come today and tell me that she wants to marry a Tamil boy, what will I see? That he's a Tamilian? Or what will I say that what is his economic status? Will he be able to keep my daughter happy? For 1 second, I will not think before getting her married to a Tamil boy. What is the big deal? I eat the same sambar and vada and in fact more so than my Rajasthani food. It's so full of chili. I don't like Rajasthani food. I prefer South Indian food. But if she was to come to me with somebody who's outside the Hindu dharmic fold, I'm not going to get married her to anybody who's adharmic. So that unites 100. What more can I say? 120 crore Hindus are united by the loose string of dharma. And I'm not saying that we are a monolith. Our beauty is that we are so different from each other and yet we are bound to each other. Hinduism is the greatest and the most beautiful, successful experiment of humanity on this earth. And that is why it must be defended with all that we have got.
How do you
Look at the Abrahamics. There are 120 denominations in Christians. And they killed each other. And what is happening in Syria? Who's killing whom? RSS is there. Vishwa Hindu Parishad. They have no shame saying that we are divided. You travel over Europe. You know all these small countries? Holland, Spain, Italy, Austria. These are all linguistic nations. Otherwise, all of them are Christians. And they butchered each other over centuries. Why was the Second World War fought? Can anybody in his sane mind tell me why was the Second World War fought? What was the rationale of the Second World War?
Maybe Hitler's greed.
Nonsense. So somebody was saying that my Aryan race is superior. What? So these people have the gumption to tell us that we Hindus are divided. And so the moronic question to say that Rajasthan warriors fought for themselves, they didn't fight for us.
Marathas fought for themselves.
What nonsense is this? Who would they fight for? They were fighting an evil ideology. They were fighting an evil force that was out to enslave us. Tamil Nadu and rest of the Hindu Samaj. Do you know there was the chronicler of the Mewar dynasty around the 15th and 16th century was a Telugu guy. I'm forgetting his name. I'll send you some Bhatt. Telang Bhatt. He has written the Raj Tarangini and other books. He's sitting in Udaipur, Mewar, the Telugu guy. So we as a nation were far advanced. We were united by the string of Sanskrit, our Upanishads, our Bhagavad Gita wisdom, the Vedic ideology. And we created a happy, peaceful society. We were happy people. Unless we got invaded by these thugs who wanted, the predatory people who just wanted to take away our wealth, take away our daughters and enslave them.
Still, the leftist narrative is that if Bharat was not invaded, we would have not got Taj Mahal, we would have not got architecture, biryani. So they civilized Bharat. We were so uncivilized.
I would say that this applies to the British, or very honestly. British made us congruent with the times. I never see British as the enemy. For me, the British War of Independence it's all very superficial. Our real civilization was fought with the barbarians from the west, from the desert. And my only argument against this is, had they been such great architectural builders, what did the Islamic civilization build in Bharat in the 1,000 years of conflict? Tell me the name of the buildings that they built.
Taj Mahal,
Taj Mahal,
Qutub Minar.
Qutub
They
Minar.
say the Qutub Minar.
and Lal Killa. Okay.
Yeah.
So in 1,000
Lal
years,
Killa.
they built 3 buildings. Really? That's the architectural prowess they bring to Sanatan Dharma. One Maharana Kumbha of Mewar built 32 fortresses during his lifetime of 40 years, reign of 40 years. Built the Vijayastham, built the Ranakpur temples, fought 56 battles against Malwa, Gujarat and Nagaur and won all 56 battles.
He's one of the fewest kings who did not get defeated in the battles. Right?
Never.
Never.
Never got defeated. Kumbha's story should be told to the Hindu Samaj, but that is a separate story. I need to read another book on him.
Okay.
He was such a great.
Just a few lines about it, because we are not aware of him. Neither our history books teach us, nor any mainstream media talks about him.
That is why Mahadev sent us the internet, no? We bypass this rotten system, which is dominated by the leftist liberals, who are not liberals.
But once a kid takes a dip in the system, becomes secular on his own.
Yes, it is devised. It is inherently devised. But secularism is, see, as a principle, I am secular. There is no bigger secular dharma than Hinduism. Because Hinduism never others somebody. When we say Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Sintu Niramaya, are we saying only Hindus Bhavantu Sukhina, Hindu Sarvantu Niramaya? We are wishing for the entire humanity, human race. Okay. That was our vision. And that is still our vision. And that is why I say Hinduism has to be preserved. If this madness of these wars, of these beheadings, of this outright destruction of societies has to stop, this human cancer has to stop. This social cancer. Live and let live. That is the bottom line of Sanatan Dharma. That is why we have myriad forms. So many languages and we are still a nation. So many cultures and we are still a nation. Because something beautiful binds us together. That tattva, that essence of Sanatan Dharma, that you be yourself, I be myself, don't go against the law of the land, Don't interfere. Your being yourself and my being myself should not interfere with each other. That is the way humanity will survive. Or it is going to survive that I am going to enslave you, or I am going to behead you if you do not subscribe to my ideology. And these people have the gumption to tell us Hindus that this is how you should live. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I refuse to take your nonsense. It is Sanatan Dharma which will prevail, and our glorious forefathers ensured that.
Okay.
That is the bottom line of Maharanas. That they passed on our freedom, they passed on our culture, they passed on our wealth and success to us. That is why there are 120 crore Hindus on this globe today. It is due to the unbelievable sacrifices of our glorious forefathers.
A few words about the kingdom in Mewar, because they were protecting us like shields.
Yes.
If not them, this nation would have been converted.
We would have been Islamized. This nation would have been Islamized. And that is the theory of my book. That is why I counter that.
So, for how many years this kingdom was there?
It is still there.
Okay.
It started in the 8th century with Bappa Rawal.
Bappa Rawal. Against whom? Against whom did he fight?
Initially, they were fighting amongst themselves, only the Rajput dominance and all that. He killed the Raja Man Mori of Chitradurga, that is the Chittor. Chittor was earlier known as Chitradurga. And he became the king by killing another fellow Hindu king, which is the norm. If in power politics is entirely different, And then in 712 AD, Muhammad bin Qasim attacked Raja Dahir Sen of Sindh. 2 times his army was repelled by Dahir and his brothers, but the third time the Buddhists aligned with them, and there was another tribe called Maid. The Maids joined hands with Qasim, and he crossed the Sindh with the help of Buddhists and the Maids, and attacked Dahir from behind and managed to defeat him.
The first Islamic invader of India.
The first successful Islamic invader. They had been attacking us for the 100 years before that. The Islamic attack on our merchants, our naval, the merchant navy started in 620, 625 AD. The predatory nature started manifesting by the Arabs. But then we repelled them successfully at Debal. Especially there is a port town in Sindh called Debal, and there was a huge fight which Hindus won. But the loss of Dahir was the first stab of Islamic invasions into the eyes of the Bharat. Now, what changed the entire dynamics was that he took away Surya Devi and Parimala Devi, the 2 daughters of Raja Dahir, as sex slaves. When Bappa heard of this, he said, "This is not normal. This is not the way Kshatriyas fight. You cannot take the women as the sex slaves." And then he decided this is the most dangerous enemy. He prepared to fight Muhammad bin Qasim. But Qasim, by the time of 715, within 3 years of his victory and defeat of Raja Dahir, he was killed by his own people, Hajjaj bin Yusuf. And that's also a very interesting story. You will read it in my book, how Qasim was killed. There's another Arabic general, Junaid al-Marri. He attacks Bharat, and Bappa forms a Hindu alliance against him, in which we had one South Indian Raja, also the Pulkesi Raja. One was Pulkesi Raja. Then he was with Jayabhat and Nagabhat and Bappa Rawal. These 4 kings aligned in 730 approximately. The exact date of the war is not clear.
Actually, what was
And they defeated them. They defeated a 60,000 strong army of Junaid al-Marri. An Arab historian, Baladhuri himself writes, it's not a hate monger from RSL, but Arab historian, that we could not find a refuge, a place of refuge from the Hindu fury. That's the way they chased us and slaughtered. Because Bappa was very clear, and then he chased them up to Iran. Bappa went up to Iran, went up to Afghanistan, went up to Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, which is today's NWFP in Pakistan, and then he came back. He established the outposts every 100 kilometers, Rajput outposts, which protected us for the next 500 years.
500 years.
I'll give you a very clear glimpse of what is wrong with the history curriculum of this nation.
Yeah.
And to one example,
please.
one example,
Yeah.
and then you will understand the kind of treachery these leftists have done with us. The first Islamic victory against any Hindu king happens in 712 by Muhammad Qasim defeating
Raja
Raja
Tahir.
Tahir. Then the next battle that we are taught in our schools is 1192, the defeat of Prithviraj Chauhan by Muhammad Ghori.
Ghori.
This is the gap of 500 years. What happened in this 500 years? What 500 years were we singing Kumbaya? Arms in arms with Islamic invaders? What were we singing? Like we were singing Bollywood songs or what? What were we doing? There was a bloody war being waged against Arabic Islam in Bharat, which we won. And because it doesn't suit the narrative, they have whitewashed it. Who was Raja Bapa Rawal? Who was Rawal Khuman? Defeated Al Mamu in the formidable alliance of Hindus. Who was Rawal Jaitra Singh? Rawal Allad? Who was Lalitaditya Muktapid? Who was Nagbhatt? Who was Jai Bhatt? Who was Pulkesi Raja? All names erased. Rawal Samar Singh. These glorious people. Do you know the defeat of Arabic Islam in Bharat? As Ian Austin, a British historian, says, the defeat of Arabic Islam by the Mewar kings was the event of the greatest geopolitical significance in human history. So tell that friend of yours who's saying that they didn't say Tamil. There's a British historian who realizes that the victory of Rajasthan Hindus, Rajputs against Islam was an event that saved them also. Because his argument is that defeat of Hindus in Rajasthan by Arabs. Who would stop Arabic Islam? China, Cambodia, Vietnam, Thailand. The world will be just run over. And we are taking away the
credit.
importance and the sacrifice and the valor of our own forefathers. I mean, look at it neutrally. Even if I was not a Hindu, I mean, Ian Austin was not a Hindu, he was not a hate monger like us. Right?
Yeah.
He was not Dikshit in the RSS curriculum. But Ian Austin, a British historian, saying that the defeat of Arabic Islam. So that is the 500 years washout. It is a sin committed by the leftists. And they should be held accountable for this. Their degrees should be taken away. All their Padmas and those rotten awards that they have got, they should be snatched. They should be tried for treason. To teach a wrong history to your students is nothing short of treason.
After the gap of 500 years, once Delhi Sultanate was formed, we have a history for each and every king.
My next book is called The Lie Called Delhi Sultanate. There was no Sultanate.
Okay.
There was no Delhi Sultanate. Delhi itself was established by Shah Jahan in somewhere around 1650. Before that, Delhi was a cantonment town. What Delhi Sultanate? Every Islamic invader who came to Bharat ruled from Agra. The name itself is a euphemism, it's a misnomer.
Then the phrase Delhi Sultanate itself is a
It's a lie.
lie.
Because what we do not understand, a simple thing is that the Jats, the Yadavs, the Gujars, and the entire Hindu community around Delhi was giving them nightmares. What Sultanate? What was the extent of this Sultanate? What was the geographical extent? Please, there at least 5 Mewar kings defeated these so-called sultans. Muhammad bin Tughlaq in 1330 AD, I think 34, the Battle of Singoli. He was defeated by Maharana Hamir Singh and arrested and kept in Chittor as a prisoner for 6 months. And only left when he gave away the suzerainty rights over Sindh, Malwa, Mewar and Marwar. Who is the Sultan here? Have you ever heard the name of Maharana Hamir Singh? You heard of Muhammad bin Tughlaq?
Yeah.
That is the magic. That is the magic. Sangha, Maharana Sangha defeated Ibrahim Lodi twice in Bakrol and Khatoli. What Delhi Sultanate? There was a Mewar kingdom. Because they were the ones who were consistently defeating. Did the sultans come and ever occupy Mewar? Will any leftist answer this question, please? What was the buildings that this Delhi Sultanate built? What was the taxation system?
Jizya tax.
Industrial scale, they slaughtered Hindus. They would build mounds of Hindu heads. Sultanate. Sorry, what did you say?
Jizya tax.
The jizya, like, wow, great. So you are taxing Hindus. This was, I think, Sikandar Lodi or somebody.
Yeah.
Huh? These are all plunderers, rapists, murderers, bunch of robbers. You dignify them by calling it a Delhi Sultanate? So my next book, besides from Pakistani Hindus, is the lie called Delhi Sultanate, in which I chronicleize the defeats of this so-called Sultanate, the geographical extent, which is absolute lie, the archaeological evidence to that, and what was the contribution? What did they build? If there was tranquility and peace in their reigns, they should have built some buildings, no? They should have done something good for their subjects. But rape and plunder and murder of Hindus cannot be called a sultanate.
The same leftist historians, they claim each and every king who ruled in the past all were same. There was no difference between a Hindu king and a Islamic invader because everybody, they were in greed of power. So
Okay. My simple argument to this is I'll destroy this argument by a simple example.
Please.
I will give you an example. Around 1640 and 1650, there was a famine. There was a pan-India famine, and there was a famine in Rajasthan. Okay, the response of two different kings in the Shah Jahan was the ruler in Delhi because he had established Delhi by then. Because there is no way to document how many, but millions of Hindus died in that famine. Because the man kept collecting his taxes, he gave no relief to the Hindu subjects, and Hindus died right, left, and center during that famine. The same famine in Rajasthan, Maharana Raj Singh Ji, he opened the coffers of the state and he said, I will start a project which is called the Raj Samand. We will dig up a lake. Thousands of Hindus were given jobs and he built an architectural marvel. Raj Samand is still present today. Go to Rajasthan and see it with your own eyes. It was created by Maharana Raj Singh Ji at the time of the famine of Rajasthan. That is the difference between a Hindu king and a murderer. When the subjects were suffering, the state opened its coffers and no Hindu was allowed to die of hunger. That was Maharana Raj Singh Ji for you. And Mr. Shah Jahan, millions of Hindus died in that famine. That is the difference. So much so for the similarity between Hindu kings and the Islamic kings.
So to capture power, both Hindu kings and the Islamic invaders, they will go to any extent to capture power.
So what's wrong with that?
No, that's the argument they make. Why do you keep spreading hatred towards the Islamic kings? Was the main argument they do.
No, I'm not spreading hatred against anybody. I'm not in the business of spreading hatred. I'm in the business of telling the truth.
Okay.
The truth is that here comes an ideology which says that I will convert you to my belief system, or I will kill you, or I will rape your daughters, or I will make you slaves. Are you telling me that the invaders who came here did not take Hindus as slaves?
They proudly record in their...
They have recorded it, no? They have themselves recorded it. Forget what a hatemonger is saying. Please focus on what Mr. Babar says in Babarnama.
Babarnama, Akbarnama, everything.
They are saying that we took 1 lakh slaves, kafirs as slaves. You want to eulogize them? You want to revere them as your saviors? Sorry, I'm not so depleted in my intellect. I will call a thug a thug. I will call a rapist a rapist. This is happening right in front of us in England, in Rotherham scandal. Look at the way the British media twisted it. These are raping gangs of Pakistani origin, right? What did they call them?
Grooming gangs.
Can anybody on this globe tell me, educate me, when did grooming become a rape? Grooming was a good word in English. What the English we learned. We groom I would still groom my children, my grandchildren to become decent, honorable citizens of the land. A rape is a rape. Call it a rape. Why give it a euphemism? But this is the way this world runs on propaganda. So the entire thing is diluted. When you say it's a grooming gang, it doesn't evoke that kind of hatred. It doesn't evoke that kind of repulsion. And that affects even the judiciary. They have absolved a lot of these Pakistani men who 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 14-year-old girls. Is this the way of the civilized world? That we treat our daughters like this? Is this the dharmic way of treating a girl child? Whom we Hindus on Ashtami, we worship our unmarried girls, right? But such are the ways of this world. This is the way the world runs.
We started talking about Bappa Rawal. So I remember a map, a meme, wherein they showed a tiny piece of orange colored map.
Mewad.
Surrounded with green. Completely. I'm not sure whether it's Ranakumbha or Maharana Pratap. He kept on defeating the invaders for almost more than a century. Actually, was it Maharana Pratap or Ranakumbha?
It's a Kumbha.
Kumbha. How did he do it?
How did he do it? He was a master strategist. He had the funds, he had the money, he had the power, he had the people, he had the alliances. And but the Battle of Sarangpur against Malwa, he defeated everybody. He defeated all of them together. The Gujarat and
How
Malwa
can
attacked.
such a tiny piece of land?
No, it's not tiny. That's the whole fraud. The entire Rajasthan Rajput kingdoms used to give tax to Mewar. Mewar was the chief of Rajasthan.
Okay.
And
To say-
on both sides of Mewar, there is the trade routes that go to Gujarat. From North Bharat, the entire trade to Gujarat used to go to, and Mewar used to tax them. That was the main problem Islamists had with Mewar, no? Because it was sitting on the pound of revenue.
Okay, to say it's a tiny piece of land, it's itself a joke. A lie.
Nonsense. Baswada, Dungarpur, Malwa, they were all under control of Mewar.
During the entire
The weakest was during Maharana Pratap.
Maharana Pratap.
Because Sangha had been treacherously murdered by Babur, giving poison in 1528.
Who was the traitor back then?
It was Babur. We don't know the exact name of the person who poisoned Sangha, but it was done by Babur.
He poisoned him.
He poisoned Maharana Sangha.
Okay.
So Sangha, with Sangha's death, the Rajput Confederation was destroyed. See, in the Battle of Khanwa, which happens between Babur and Maharana Sangha in 1527, 16th March, that was the decisive battle of Bharatvarsh. Diver was the decisive battle for Rajasthan. Khanwa was the battle decided in Bharat's fate. And it either ended in a stalemate or I would say victory for Sangha. For 1 year, Sangha kept fighting Babur, and there were talks of treaty. Thrice they met. And then next time in the final meeting on 30th January 1527, Sangha was poisoned.
Okay.
And then Mewar went into a civil war. There was king after king. There was Dasi Putra, Banbir. He became the king. He killed everybody. Then Maharana Uday Singh Ji was saved by Panna Dhai. That's another very pious and a very beautiful story. You can read it in the book. And by the time Uday Singh himself was a weak king. By the time Pratap King, Mewar was reduced to 300 square miles of area. He recovers entire Mewar within the reign of Mr. Akbar. Except Chittor, every inch of Mewar is recovered by Pratap. So this shrinking and expanding goes on. But we are showing you this tiny dot.
See, when I hear the word Chittor, I remember Akbar's massacre in Chittor, where he ordered 30,000.
Akbar the Great.
Akbar the Great.
Please mind your words. He was a great man. Understand this.
He abolished jizya tax.
No person who's a debauch,
Secular.
who's himself saying that he has thousands of wives. In his own chronicles, it is written, in Agra fort, it is written some 700 wives. So that he's a great guy, this is the greatness. A man who slaughtered 40,000 Hindus, his own chronicler Abul Fazl and Nizamuddin Bakshi, they document this number, that this is the number of Hindus that were slaughtered on one
innocent,
day.
Peaceful Hindus. Innocent Hindus.
Innocent.
They were not
30,000 were innocent, 8,000 Hindus were combatant. So
30,000 were innocent.
30,000 civilians were butchered. And I've explained it. Professor K.S. Lal has gone into brilliant detail explaining that unfortunate day of 25th February 1568, the second Saka Jauhar of Rajasthan, of Chittor. It will shake you. If you read it in the book, the 10th chapter of my book, you will not be a normal person. You will be a changed person. Yesterday when I had the session in Chennai, in CRC Center, I told everybody, about 100 odd people came to listen to me. And I said, please take this book home. This book will change you forever. Because it will do two things. It will destroy the lie of, in our drawing room conversations, they're like, we were slaves for 1,000 years. We were not slaves even for one single day.
We were warriors.
We were fighting them. We were in a state of fight. Our economy has collapsed from the 25% GDP to now whatever 3-4%.
3-4%.
Thanks to Modi ji, we have recovered some bit of it. But our economic downfall, so many ills that came to us because we were in a constant state of war. The entire world owes its freedom to us, but our own people have turned against us because of the leftist narrative that was spread by the so-called the transition of power that happened in 1947. The entire education system was hoodwinked.
Recently, there was a slight change in the history books, but there,
Minimalist.
yeah,
I'm not very sad, but
very
okay.
minimal. They mentioned the invaders as cruel invaders.
So, but then what about Maharana Hamir Singh? What about Maharana Kumbha? What about Maharana Sanga? What about Bappa Rawal? What about Lalita Aditya Mukta Pida? There should be separate chapters on these great Hindus. You are saying that they were invaders. Who was fighting them? Who saved the Hindu Samaj? And all the brutality. Tell the Hindus what is Saka Jawhar. Hindus don't know what is Saka Jawhar.
What is Sakaja?
What is Saka Jawhar? It is the event because of you are Kiran and not Kamran. That is Saka Jawhar. It is the event because of which I am Omendra Ratnu and not Umar Abdullah. When the Rajputs and the Hindu people were surrounded in their forts by the Islamic armies, they would lay a siege for 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, and food and water would run out in the forts. It happened in 12 different places in Rajasthan, but most importantly in Chittor. It happened in Jaisalmer, Ranthambore, Chanderi, Jodhpur, but the biggest and the most brutal were in Chittor. So the king would call all the men of the fort inside the fort, which is like flourishing cities. Chittor is a whole city inside. And he would say that time has come for us to judge Jawhar. All the women of that fort would be put to fire alive.
Like we saw in Padmavat movie.
There was no Padmavat, there was only a Padmini. Padmavat,
movie.
The Padmavat is a misnomer. It's a novel written by Malik Muhammad Jaisi 300 years after Maharani Padmini.
Okay.
There was no Padmavati. Padmavati is a figure of imagination. There was Maharani Padmini. For a second, Kiran, imagine yourself as one of the males in the Chittor fort on 25th February 1568. You have to put your mother and your sister to fire alive. Feel it. You will stop breathing. You will stop thinking. The trauma, the violence will destroy your psyche as a male if you put your women, your sister, your mother, your daughter and your wife to fire, to see them burning alive. This was an earth-shaking moment if we have the sensitivity. 10,000 women burned themselves alive. You know why? Why couldn't they have chosen an easier way to die? They could have consumed poison. They could have stabbed each other. Because there is a thing called necrophilia, sex with a dead body. They knew it. How many Hindu women today know? There was no internet in 13th century. Our Hindu foremothers knew this. And they said, we will take away the possibility of them defiling our bodies. We will reduce our body to ashes. This is the price our forefathers and foremothers have paid for us to remain Hindus. 10,000 women burning themselves alive because they refused to be caught as sex slaves. And they would not allow even their dead bodies to be touched by militias. The men would then put that ashes on their body, open the gates of Chittor, kill as many as they could, and then they died fighting. This was Saka Jawhar. Rajasthan faced a dozen such Saka Jawhars. That is the reason. When you see such fortitude, when you see such sacrifice, the entire Mewar people got up. They said, our kings and our queens have killed them. They have died fighting. We are not going to surrender to this evil force. Otherwise, how do you rally people? War is a suffering. Abhi Modi ji bolenge ki like, I am going to raise the price of petrol by 10 rupees. The Hindus will start eating his flesh. They will start demanding we want to eat Modi alive. He has made our life so difficult. Imagine the suffering at that time. You think it was easy for the people of Mewar to fight? Do you think there was no old age? There was no arthritis? There were no pregnant women? There were no cancer? There were no diseases? Everything was there. But our forefathers and foremothers fought it. And that is the success story that needs to be taken to the Hindu Samaj. That we are children of those great people. Nowhere on this globe Saka Jawhar happened except in Bharat. We should own that legacy. That is the level of sacrifice our forefathers made, and that is the beauty. And because of that, we never became slaves. But you can take away my body, but you cannot take my will. That is the bottom line. And happening for 1000 years, not one generation, not two generations. The third generation is capitulating, surrendering. No, surrendering is not an option. And today, after 70, 80 years of this so-called freedom, we are ready to surrender. The Hindus are capitulating. By why? So my job is to tell the story. We were never slaves for even one day. That is the biggest lie that has come into our daily drawing room discourse. We were never slaves. We were the people who kept fighting for our freedom, for our dignity, for our economy, for our women, for our devas, for our dharma. And I'm sure that once the Hindu Samaj remembers this, even if 2%, 3% Hindus remember this, we will keep on fighting for the next 1400 years. Bring it on. Aao, saapne maa ka doodh piya. Aao. Come on, bring it. We'll fight you. What's the big deal? Shri Krishna says, Tasmat uttishthata keshavalabhasva. Our gods.
Yuddhaya kritanishchaya.
Yuddha is okay. We don't want Yuddha. But if you want my daughter, if you want my wealth, if you want my dharma, I'm sorry, I'm not going to give it to you. We are ready to fight for the next 1000 years. As simple as that.
Okay. You started with the Padmavat and Jodha Akbar. Apart from that, there are so many, like, correct me if I'm wrong, there were matrimonial alliance between Rajputs and the Mughals.
No. There was a unilateral matrimonial alliance. The Rajputs gave a slave daughter or some girl child. Did Rajputs take the Muslim girls? Have you ever thought about this? What matrimonial alliance? The
Rajputs, I keep hearing this time and again. That there were matrimonial alliances.
No, but then if a matrimonial has to be a two-way traffic, no? Had Rajputs taken any Muslim girl, had any Rajput big kingdom converted to Islam, they knew it. It is recorded in Shamal Das Dadwadiya's book on Mewar history. There was a meeting in Jaipur where the Rajputs, the Brahmins, the Charans and the martial communities decided we might give a daughter to save our kingdom from the attacks because we are weak right now. We will not take a daughter. Because if a daughter comes from the Islamic household to Hindus, it is a matter of time before you are converted and this whole glorious land is Islamized. Can you imagine the vision and the understanding and the foresight of our forefathers? Tell me one incident, and Babar is on record. Mr. Babar wrote it in his Babarnama that we offered our daughters as matrimonial alliance to Rajputs, which they refused. What matrimonial alliance? They were a barter to purchase peace for some time, but not one Rajput king ever converted to Islam. And that for me is the bottom line. Had Rajputs converted, it was game up for us. Game up. And if we do not take cognizance of this simple fact, we are very insensitive and very idiotic in our understanding of Hindu history.
இந்த திவாலிய ஃபேமஸ் ஸ்டார் டூரிசமோட துபாயில கோலாகலமா கொண்டாடுங்க. திவாலி ஆஃபர் வெறும் 24999 மட்டுமே. இப்போவே ஃபேமஸ் ஸ்டார் டூரிசம் கான்டாக்ட் பண்ணி உங்க சீட்ஸை புக் பண்ணுங்க.